probably wonder who I am. Let me explain. An ordinary guy who was studying to be a historian. But that's not a big deal these days. Higher education means nothing in this country. It is almost impossible to find a job, and all those employed are still very poor. Public organizations get shut down, incessant staff reductions, write-offs, and poverty. On the other hand, oligarchs and their friends hold power with an iron grip. In their personal interests, they switched everything to private rails. The country was divided and sold. Despite having a diploma with honor and a completed dissertation paper, I had to become a stash man. A stash man works hard, but can earn good money. In this damned world, money decides everything. You just cannot survive without it. Still, existential despair, ethical hopelessness, and inner decay are killing me. I wish the world were different, at least a little. I studied to be a historian in order to devote more time to researching great revolutionaries and anarchists of the past, as well as in the hope of finding out how we can change the world today. All in vain. There are only few people like me now. We are too scanty to change anything. But maybe I got lucky this time. This is Semyon Mikhailovich, my neighbor and an inveterate alcoholic. When drunk, he talks all sorts of nonsense about the time machine and pretends to be a great physicist who studied in Germany. At least I thought it was nonsense. Until I put his wife on my cock one day. Natalia Ivanova, an elderly woman, used to seek solace, and believe me, she did find it. Just imagine, her husband drinks and beats her, and there is a young and always sexually hungry guy next door. That is me. It's a sin not to take advantage. I remember very well how her small, cunning, old womanish eyes spotted me right away. I could understand this because I did not take my eyes off her too. Yes, I love MILFs. Why not? Who is sinless? Long story short, when my cock visited her rotten truffle for the nth time, and we had hot sex at her place, I noticed a solid file lying on a bedside table, and of course I snatched it, hoping it contained their retirement savings. After a couple of squirts, I returned home and opened the ill-fated package. If I say I was fucking shocked, that wouldn't be the exact word. I almost shit on myself of sincere and inhuman surprise. Instead of the expected retirement money, I discovered some documents showing that Semyon was not only an alcoholic, boomer, and cuckold, but also a recognized scientist working at Solkovo. My skills of a stash man and old women fucker helped me to find rubbish spots and a loophole I am going to use to penetrate into a secret lab established in a Solkovo basement. It was difficult, but I managed to get this secret object because I will change this country along with the whole world. The coordinates and time are defined. It's time to set off. Hopefully, I did not make the wrong choice.
Staying in Lenin's shadow, Stalin skillfully installed his allies on every level of the party apparatus. Joseph has always been a moderate socialist, flawlessly playing his role in front of friends and foes alike. Even after Lenin's death in 1924, he continued to lurk in the shadows, pitting his rivals Trotsky, Kamenev, and Zinoviev, the primary pretenders to the communist throne, against each other. Stalin initiated the so-called Lenin's draft, the mass recruitment of working-class people into the Russian Communist Party. This transition from the party of elites to the party of workers had a profound effect, severely limiting the influence of Stalin's rivals, and this allowed Stalin to start his quest for supremacy. Stalin didn't bend, but not everyone could see this. He was always unflinchingly pragmatic and efficiently cruel. When leading the country, Joseph did not allow for a shade of insubordination with public and hidden purges, stamping out discontent before it could spread.
I wonder how many people should be executed before Beria is accused of being a butcher. And at what point do we finally execute him because of it? He has too much influence now, and his thoughts stink like damn rotten capitalism. Lenin would have turned over in his grave 3 times by now. Fucking fuck! NKVD! There's a spy! Shoot him! Well, wait a minute. You're naked. Why on Soviet land? There's a naked guy in my office, and he wants to raid the general secretary. Call for Comrade Beria right now. This is treason. State treason. Well, yes. Your shirt too doesn't look at all terrifying. Even Malenkow is more impressive, though he's never been famous for his. You are talking nonsense, and I should mention that you're looking less and less intimidating. In fact, you don't look intimidating at all. You just took me by surprise while I was lost in my thoughts. And if you value your life, though it will be short of course, believe me, I can make it even shorter. So, you've chosen death then. You are lucky that I have no gun in my pocket. Alright, I can give you another choice. You wanna be shot in the head or in the heart? I can also shoot your nutsack off first if you wish. I will make you scream like a little girl. That's nothing new. Not surprised. I'm already old, my dear boy. Of course he will. I didn't take him in hand for nothing. Me and Nikita Sergeyevich had a conflict in the past, but we settled it. And talking about Comrade Georgy, he's not far-sighted enough, and he understands it himself. She always was a romantic person with a passion for new things. Well, Khrushchev had a bald head, so your rule doesn't work. What? Stop. How can you know this indeed? Who are you? What was the name of my father? Why was I expelled from a theological seminary? You know, my father regularly beat me and my mother. I could not accept this from a religious person, so I turned to Marxism. How old was I when I lost my virginity? In your time, it's probably not a secret. When was my first time with a man? Okay, last question. What I did to Roosevelt when we met at the Yalta Conference in 1945, I've never told this to anyone. Okay, maybe you are from the future, or maybe you're a cunning liar. Anyway, you know too much. Don't worry, my dear. You have no chance of surviving through the night, so we can just take our time and enjoy this conversation. And why not? I have insomnia anyway. For sure. Yesterday, a maid wanted to help me too, but she had a Mauser in her hand. She was dashing about as fast as lightning, wild and bold. She wanted to kill me. She wanted that so much, but she left my office in the morning with her bottom falling out. Beria overdid it. And 1 day later, she was executed. But it doesn't matter now. Let's get started. But before, comrade time traveler, please bend over and cough. I need to check you for spyware. You know, comrade traveler, I received some interesting materials yesterday. I'm curious what you may think about them, and you can compare them to your time. Don't rush. You have enough time to study the details. Firstly, tell me something. Is communism at all possible? That's not what I asked. You see, the author of the materials I mentioned before has built quite an interesting logic consequence. As you may know, the essence of communism was explained by Karl Marx. Well, in the highest phase of communist society, the division of labor that enslaves people will disappear, and the opposition of mental and physical labor will also vanish. Labor will never be just a means for earning a living. It will become the first need of life. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. That is communism. Our society is now at a stage of socialism. We have not yet reached that stage of socialization, that of both people and a means of production. But at the same time, I sometimes think that communism is desirable, but almost impossible to reach, at least due to the fundamental subjectivity of individual consciousness. You see, the socialism that we have now, it is in fact the same capitalism, but already completely monopolistic. The global monopolistic capitalism, it's autocratic, so to say. There is the monopoly on trade, legislation, production, ideology, and propaganda, and the monopoly on thoughts and life itself. If you think profoundly, you will see that our Western colleagues do. When it comes to a crisis, they quickly send all their ideas and principles to hell. Is there a great difference between the economics of the USA and Germany? Yes, the ideologies are different, but how they work is just the same. Not long ago, I had the opportunity to read a scientific report. I found so many bright thoughts. Imagine, comrade, genes make all the difference. They really do. Although I was previously informed that there are no genes and that genetics is pseudoscience. What can you say on the matter, comrade? One day, comrade, we will be able to modify vegetables, berries, and fruits to make them tastier, juicier, and more nutritious. We will change the trees. The wood will be as strong as metal, yet as light as sea foam. I see there to be an endless number of possibilities, and all in just 4 years. Oh, how it sounds. And since we can modify plants and animals, then people can also be improved a little. It was you who asked me about the intensive measures, but we are still lacking data on that matter. Maybe, yes, you are possibly right, but does it really matter if with this method we can create the ideal human? Let's just say it's a necessary measure to compensate for the deviations in the course of building communism. Just imagine that, human, the ideal communist, hardworking, good husband, breadwinner, Stakhanovich, Peredavik, patriot of his motherland. All this is possible to achieve, and then we will simply multiply people by cloning. So, is humanism a price too big to pay for all this? First of all, no one deprives anyone of anything. Although this method is attractive, it will take decades to implement it in life, if not centuries. I'm not good at genetic engineering, but I do understand that numerous plants, animals, and people are dramatically different in terms of self-organization. Imagine, after 10 or 20 years, it will be possible to make cultures more prolific, more resistant to frost, etc. Gradually, of course. This will be a great achievement and a breakthrough. But as I can see, changing a human completely will take much more time. More than just a couple of decades. I studied at a theological seminary, and I still know the spirituals well, although reality is different from what it teaches. I'd say that if I were to implement this plan during my lifetime, I would answer with all responsibility when the last judgment arrives, if it does in fact exist.
I'm ready to do anything for the sake of the motherland, and I hope for your cooperation. And understanding. The Soviet people need the knowledge you possess, even if they don't know about it. And it does not matter if you agree or not. I'm pretty sure that I'm ready to do anything for the sake of the motherland, and I hope for your cooperation and understanding. The Soviet people need the knowledge you possess, even if they don't know about it. And it does not matter if you agree or not. I'm pretty sure that we will get the answers.
What? What's the problem then? Is it difficult to make new medications? I can see that the area of healthcare will present many complex problems, right? Thank you for the information. Now that I know, we will do our best not to let this happen. It is necessary to create a powerful healthcare system, one that no one could ever destroy in the future. Free medicine and effective free medication. That's the USSR I want to see. What do you mean? That sounds fantastic. Next, you'll be seeing that I could have thermal vision, including laser emitting from my eyes, as well as super hearing and the ability to fly. I have. It is necessary to know what your potential enemies could do. On the one hand, he fought against dishonest businessmen and politicians. But on the other, I clearly see the image of a man, not an American, who is zealously trying to become one and meet all the ideals of America. But you didn't bring those chemicals, did you? Sounds interesting, although it seems too fantastic to be true. But we'll give it a chance. For the sake of the motherland, I will do anything.
Stalin never changed. Only Papadanin could render any significant impact, and as a result Stalin organized research into creating some means of strengthening and reinforcing the human body.
Same as labor made a human out of monkey, he'll make a superhuman out of human.
With these words, Stalin appointed the time traveler as head of these studies. Years later, he completed this research. Numerous prototypes of superhuman serum were created, but they all needed to be tested. So a new wave of disappearances among the people began. Only a few knew, and those individuals died in horrific experiments and torturous methods in the hands of the time traveler. At the cost of huge sacrifices, the superhuman serum was finally created. It made a man incredibly fast, intelligent, godlike, and unthinkably strong. Stalin and Papadanin became the world's first and only superhumans. The USSR declared war on the United States, in which United States and its allies inevitably lost. All other countries surrendered. The world communist regime was formed. Any signs of dissent were immediately repressed. The utopia was disturbed by the approach of a giant asteroid to Earth. Joseph Stalin and the time traveler decided that it's impossible to rule a wasteland and that they had to save the world at whatever cost. Stalin and Papadanin destroyed the asteroid, sacrificing their lives. Who were they in the end? The heroes who saved the world or the tyrants who captured it?